everyone, welcome back to Kirsty Colouring Sketch. My name's Kirsty. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing, and if you're returning, welcome back. So I'm going to continue with this page today. I did a little colouring chat with this one last time on the channel. It is from Hanna Karlzon's Gold Corn. So we did the background in pan pastel, and then we did do this candy cane, I believe. And then I did the other two candy canes off camera because I thought I'm just repeating the same thing. So if you watched my colouring chat with this one, you'll know what colours I used, etc. So I didn't feel the need to do those ones on camera. But yeah, the little candy canes. I didn't go for the original red and white. I thought I wanted to go for something a bit different. So they are sort of purpley tones, and then I've put a little tiny bit of white gel pen detailing in. And the same on those two. So today I thought I'd do one of the mice, so I think I'll go for this one. It's going to be easier to get it in frame with where my tripod's angled. So if I can zoom in for us, we can get in on him. So I am just going to do him grey. I did decide in my last colouring chat that I thought greys would look quite nice against a pink background, because greys and pinks tend to look really nice together. So I thought, I've pulled out a couple of colours, but in the Erodgeting sets what I've got, I don't really have, you know, a dark enough grey to go in with some really dark shading. So I'll put my base down first, and I might have to pull out a Polychromos pencil to get some darker shading. But this shade here has got a bit of a, it's a grey with a bit of a blue tone in it. It's called Campanula Blue. Probably pronouncing that all levels of wrong, but it is like a grey with a hint of blue. And then there's this pigeon grey. Here, look how dry my hands are. To get myself some hand cream. Do you know what it was this morning when I got in my car? -5 degrees. That's how cold it is here. That's how cold it is. Absolutely awful. So I am actually going to go in with the Campanula. It sounds so wrong, that. Blue, this blue. Anyway, I'm just going to put a base down everywhere. I'm only going to come down though about up to here on the tail, because the rest of the tail I'm going to do pink. So if you sort of stop it at the sort of top of the tail, and then that can fade out into a pink for the edge of the tail. But everywhere else I'm going to base in this nice colour. So what have you all been colouring? Has anybody started any Christmas pages yet? Are you not a Christmas kind of person? Do you not really like colouring the Christmas pages? What's your preference? I don't know why I picked a double page spread, I'll be honest, because I've not been doing much colouring at all, and I've been like, yeah, just dive straight in with a double page spread with lots of detailing. I mean, the decorations and the mice aren't too bad. It's all this what's going to take forever. You know, the Christmas tree branches, because they're teeny tiny. No doubt I'll only do a little bit of that on camera when it comes to it, and then the rest I'll have to do off camera, because that'll be a bore to watch that. It'll be a major bore. So I'm going to go around the edge of the ears, but the centres I'm not, because the centres I'm going to do pink as well. And maybe a little bit of pink on his hands as well. So coming down towards the edge of his hand, maybe on the outside going with the grey, and then leave that little bit here so I can pop a little tiny bit of pink in. Burn that here. I hope you've all got your Christmas trees up now. You should have all your Christmas trees up by now. We put ours up last weekend, and the girls did it, to be honest, and my son. My little girls and my boy all did it together. So it didn't take too long, really. Didn't take too long. And then my 12-year-old, who's really into F1 and a few other things, did her own decorations for the tree. So she printed some pictures of Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and she'd punched an hole in the top of the picture, put some ribbon through and tied them to the tree. Oh, she drew a Santa hat on them as well. So there was Santa Norris, which she called Santa Norris. I thought it was hilarious. I'll try and find a picture actually and pop it up here. I'll try and find a picture. So if it's there, I've found it and you're looking at it now, the decorations. She also did some Rainbow Friends decorations, which is a kids program, I believe, of sorts. And there's a, you know, Lilo and Stitch, the angel. She did that as well. So I'm going to go in with a pigeon grey now to just pick out some darker bits, and I'm going to start with a fluffy bit on the end, and I'm going to go in with a hard pressure here and see what shading I can get off this pencil. If I feel like I want it to be darker, then I'll have to dip into my polychromos set. There's three volumes of these Erogeton pencils that I've not got, so perhaps the greys, the darker greys, are in those sets that I don't have. But yeah, I can only find this pigeon grey, so we'll see. But I think the lighter shades of grey might go nice on this page. We'll see. See what I think when I've done it all. But I'm thinking, because I've actually done it before on a colouring page, I'm thinking about putting a little Santa hat on this mouse, maybe over this ear. So maybe coming half over his head here, and the hat coming over here and drooping down here. But I had to do it in acrylic paint to be sure that it covered, you know, it covered. So I might do that, so stick with me. Stick with the video and stick with me, I might do that. Watch you all stick to the end and then I'll not do it. But if I get this little bit of colouring done quick enough, then I can stick a hat on him, no problem. Stick a hat on him, because why not? It's Christmas. Can be Santa Mouse. I've just seen advertised as well. Do you know pigs in blankets? It's like the little sausages wrapped in bacon, what you have at Christmas, or we do over here. They're selling some in a supermarket store now over here. It's Marks and Spencer's store. 2 foot long pigs in blankets. I screenshotted it and sent it to my partner. He's like, right, off you pop. Like, I am not going to the shop to get those, because one of the local towns that are by me, they've shut that store down, so I'd had to go to the town on the opposite side of me to go and get some of those 2 foot long pigs in blankets. And there's like 2 in a pack. They're going big with everything, aren't they? So I think Alder, the supermarket, Aldi did something supersized at one point. I can't think what it was. Was it a steak? Was it like a huge steak? I'm pretty sure it was. It was something like that. And I just thought, how are you supposed to cook that thing? I'm not the best cook to start with. And I know you can have steak rare, so it doesn't really matter if you don't cook it proper, as long as you've flashed it. Whatever you call it, flashed it a minute on each side or whatever it is. But yeah, I was like, no. I think I've got all the desserts for the kids, what the kids like. I've got the strawberry cheesecake for one of my daughters. I've got chocolate gâteau for my other daughter. I'm getting some ice cream for the youngest ones, because the youngest just want ice cream with chocolate sauce on. And I think I'm going to get myself a lemon meringue pie. I love lemon desserts, like especially a lemon meringue pie. When I was in school, I did food technology as a GCSE in school, and I actually made lemon meringue pie, and it was the best one. Better than all these shop bought ones. It was so good, and I wouldn't know how to make it now. I wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo now. I'm the worst. The worst cook. Can't cook, won't cook. I've got a really bad memory as well though, so if I say I got a recipe for something, even if I made it like 3-4 times, I'd still need to get the recipe card out to follow along, because I cannot retain. It's like my brain does not retain information. So I'm like, I forgot. I don't know quantities of a basic like sponge cake or anything. Cannot. And my daughter made she said, Mum, I'm making chocolate fudge brownies at school. She said, but they're supplying the ingredients. We just need to take in £2 for obviously donation for the ingredients. And whatever chocolate bar we want to sprinkle on top of it, basically. So she said, can I do Toblerone? So I said, yeah, okay. So I went to the shops and I got some Toblerones. And she took a £2 into school. And she came home with them yesterday. She said, Mum, she said, they're not brownies. She said, it's just like a cake. And I said, oh, did everyone's turn out the same? Was everyone's like that? She said, yeah. I said, oh, well, it must be something with your teacher's recipe then, if everyone's has turned out like cake. Because it was really dry. It weren't like a chewy brownie, you know, it was really, really dry and it had gone really big. And I said, it must be a teacher's recipe then. But, oh, they weren't brownies at all. It was, it weren't very nice. I'll be honest. So I'm going to get some, I'm just going to put a bit of this grey on that finger there. We'll put the pink in the centre there. I am going to get the pink now. I've got 2 different pinks. I'm not sure which one to go for. We've got this one, which is like a, would you call that a dusky pink? It's called fawn, but it's like a, I don't know how to describe it. And then we've got a pink. I think I'm going to go for this one. This looks really pretty, this fawn. So I'm going to go for this in the ears and on the tail and a little bit on his little hand there. So yeah, I'm going to go in with an overall base and then I'm going to go in with a harder pressure. But don't worry about it being neat or anything yet. Really basic, light all over. And then we're going to go in with a hard pressure starting from the bottom, working around the 8 sides, leaving it paler in the centre. So don't be worried about using a hard pressure with these pencils, because they can withstand it, because they're a very hard leaded pencil. That's the good thing about these. They do work better when you layer them up rather than going in with a full block colour like I'm doing now, but it does still work, so can get it to perform somewhat. There we go. I hope the school car park isn't as full as it was this morning either. The school car park's sort of a shared car park with another building, so there's like it's like a building that does a bit of everything. There's sort of businesses can rent the rooms out in this building and hold conferences or, you know, any sorts of meetings. And then it's also like a hub for all the sports, all the children's sports and things. So they have a lot of things going on in there. And then obviously our school use it as well. But when there's any sort of events going on in that other building, they take up the whole of the car park. So it means none of the school mums can get on it, or very few can get on it. And it's a nightmare because there's not really much parking surrounding the school. One of the side streets we're not allowed to park down at all, because it's like once you get in you can't get out sort of thing. And they've had a few mishaps where cars haven't been looking where they're going properly and nearly running children down, so you're not allowed to park in that side street whatsoever. The main road gets rammed, and obviously the main road is not good for me getting my little ones in the car because, you know, the liabilities. So it's a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? I've always said, if they're building schools, I don't know why they don't make sure that they've got adequate parking. If I lived closer to the school, I wouldn't mind walking whatsoever. But we live, is it 1.7 mile? I don't know if it's 1.2 mile or 1.7 mile away from school. So it's a bit of a trek, and because I have to get one daughter to one school and then straight from that school to the next, I won't possibly be able to walk it anyway. So it took me an hour to walk, basically. Well, 45 minutes with the kids because they walk slow. So yeah, it's just a no-go for some people, isn't it? So that's the pink bits in. I'm going to do his little nose pink as well. You could do his nose black, but I like a little pink nose. And then I'm just going to get my blender pencil. Make sure it's clean. I'll rub it on a piece of paper at the side of me. And I'm just going to go over these grey bits just to smooth it out a little bit. Now, I didn't use a blender pencil on the bows because I wanted to keep that texture in to make it almost look a bit velvety, or like this, like it's fabric kind of. I want to try and smooth this grey out a little bit. We recently got a Ring doorbell, right? We've been wanting one for ages, absolutely ages, but we never bit the bullet. But in the Black Friday sales, it was on offer, so we thought, go on then. So we ordered it, and now when the sun's shining on the Ring doorbell, every time a large vehicle goes past, like a big lorry or a double-decker bus, and it moves the sun, you know, it shadows, the Ring doorbell goes off. It's like motion. I'm like, no, it's just another lorry. Oh, so now I'm like, ooh, it's pretty annoying this now. And also, I didn't think about my diamond painting purchases, because if I order a diamond painting now, my partner can see it coming to the door. And there's no mistake in a diamond painting. Like, the box for them is like, you know what's in there. You know what's in there. So I'm like, so funny. Right, I'm going to use a micron pen, I think, for the black in his eye, because it's teeny tiny. I reckon if I get in there with a micron pen, it's a lot easier than trying to get in with a pencil, and it makes it really black as well. I think that's it. I just need to do this gem. What colour should I do the gem on his head? Should I be in keeping with the colour of this bow and sort of bring it into the gem? I think I might. Let's try and find the colours I used. Was it mauve? Mulberry. Was that the colour I used? Mulberry, I think it was. But I'll base it with this one first. So I'll base it with crocus. Gosh, my camera isn't focusing. Crocus, so I'll just base it with that first. And then I'll put the mulberry in. Around the edges. Do this bit too. So going in with the mulberry now. That nursery rhyme just came to mind. I don't know why. I've not heard that nursery rhyme in ages. Do you know what? I've just realised I've not even got my lamp on. I bet that's been so dark. Or have I? And it's just not... Why is it not bright at all in this room today? It just does not seem bright at all. Is it even on? Yeah, it's definitely on. Why is that not bright? Oh well, I hope it's been okay for you. Yeah, that nursery rhyme just came to mind. He would go around the mulberry bush. And that's not something that I've ever sung to my children. Do you know there's like sort of a few nursery rhymes that sort of phased out. And I think I only ever sung to my daughters Row, Row, Row Your Boat, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and the Mama's Gonna Buy You a Mockingbird one, but I never knew the words all the way through it, so I just used to repeat. I used to repeat the first two verses because I didn't quite know that one. It's bad, isn't it? It's bad. Right, I'm going to use my blender pencil just to blend in that lighter colour in the centre there. Sort of, I don't like how that made it leak, so I'm going back in with a mulberry a bit at the bottom. And we'll bring it up a bit onto these ones. Now I'm going to see if I can find a sort of either a gold or another purple to go around this tiny little bit. I've got an horrible glare now, haven't I? First we couldn't see, now we've got a horrible glare on my little mouse. Don't like it. Really don't like it. I'm so fussy, aren't I? You're probably like, Kirsty, stop mauling. Kirsty, stop mauling. Sorry, I like mauling. Oh, let's just leave it at that. Right, so I think, let's see what this, yeah, I'm going to use this gel pen. I think this was one of my Jelly Rolls, which I don't get all too often anymore. Jelly Roll Metallic. Sakura, and I'm just going to go around the edge of that. Like so, and in the centres of them. And then I'm going to get a white gel pen, wherever I've left my white gel pen, to put in the highlights that are already there, but I'm going to draw them back in and go over the black line out of them. I sort of prefer it when they don't put those details in, because it's easier if you don't have that line art to contend with. I'm going to put him some little white highlights in his eyes. I'm going to put him a little bit on his nose there, a little highlight on his nose. The ears I'm not going to maul with, because I am going to go in with his little hat now. So, are you all ready for this? This could go terribly wrong, because it just could go terribly wrong, guys. So, I'm going to put his hat over this ear, and it's going to, I think it's going to flop. Going to be over there. It's going to flop down here. Somewhere here, so I might end up going over a few of the leaf branches, but I'm not too worried about it because I can work around it. So just on a piece of scrap paper now, I'm going to pop some of this teaser. So this is, I've picked out Scarlet Red, so this is obviously for the Santa hat, and then I do have a Decor Americana White, just to put the, you know, the fluffiness of a Santa hat around the edge. I'm going to pop some of that on as well. This could go horribly wrong, or it could go really nice. Who knows, because it's going to be freehand. I'm going to draw this in freehand now. So wish me luck. This is sort of the smallest point brush that I've got. I'm hoping it's okay. It's one of the cheapies that I got off Amazon, because I don't like to use my expensive watercolour brushes on with acrylic paint. It's just not good. Don't do it. Use your cheap brushes. So we are going to cover the whole of the ear up, so the ear is going to be blocked in with red. Right, so do it on an angle very carefully. I'm going to stop it there because I don't want to go over two ears, so we're going to stop it there. So we're going to have to come up. We can neaten this up, so don't worry, this is not the ending I'm going for. So we need to make sure it goes up over this ear. Now bring it down and down here, and we're going to have the bauble somewhere, probably here, the fluffy bit on the end. I hope you can see what I'm doing. It will look like a disaster to start with, guys. So I'm going to fill this in the best I can now, trying not to make any lumps in the acrylic. It will need a couple of layers, this. It is not fully going over that. Line art is still visible, so we will have to do a few layers. Let's try and get it all flat. The good thing with acrylic paint is that it dries really, really quickly. So in a second we should be able to go in with another layer. Just give that a minute. I've done this before. I forgot what page it was. I think it was on was it on a polar bear page by Tim Jeffs? Oh, I can't quite remember. Pretty sure it was. Right, I'm going to go in with the second layer now because it's pretty much dry. This is why I like to use the Deco Art Americana, but I don't have a red in the Deco Art because it does tend to be more opaque. This is going to take some layers. If you wanted to put some glitter over the top of this when it's dry as well, you could put some glitter on. That might be nice on the white part of it, to sprinkle some glitter on while it's still wet. That's an idea. Just going to pop a little bit over this bit I keep missing. Still needs another layer. It's quite shocking actually, I didn't think it'd need this many layers. It's quite shocking how many it needs to go over that block line out. Right, I'll give that a minute to dry off before we go in with our last layer. I hope it's the last layer. It better be the last layer. It better be, and then we can go in with our fluffy bits, our white fluffy bits. But I'll have to pop off and wash this brush off, I think, first. Let's give it a blow. Let's try and neaten it up a little bit. close look to check if I can see any more on here. Right, looks like it's pretty much covered it. So I'm just going to wash my brush off and then we'll come back and do the fluffy bits. Welcome back. So it is a whole day later. It's a whole day later since the last bit of filming that I did on this red hat. So as I just got off to go and get my white paint to put the fluff in, I received a phone call from my son's school. They said he'd slipped on the ice outside and he'd cut his lip and they thought it might need gluing at A&E. Could I go and pick him up? So I rushed over to go and pick him up. We went to the walking centre, which is a bit like the place you go before A&E. It's the place where they glue, you know, small cuts and things like that. So we went there and they said when a cut looks like his and it's gone over the border of the lip, they refer them to Alder Hey Childrens Hospital, which is in Liverpool. So she said, I'll refer him and they'll see you in the morning. They said it'll be nil by mouth from midnight tonight, so we won't be able to have anything to eat or drink from midnight until after he's been seen at Alder Hey. So we had to rush around trying to get childcare for the other children. Drove up to Alder Hey this morning. It started snowing, like terrible. Anyway, I'll put a picture of my son's lip here. If you're of a nervous disposition, you don't like to look at things like this, don't look at it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there it is. And I'll just leave it up there for a couple of seconds and then I'll get rid of it. So there you can see the gap. You can see the gap there. Okay, it's gone. You're safe to come back. Yeah, so we drove up to Alder Hey this morning in the snow. It was absolutely horrific conditions. I don't like the motorway anyway, so I'm still a bit panicky from that journey, to be honest. We got there, they said, we do think he'll benefit from the surgery to fix it up so that it won't leave a nasty scar, because he said if you leave it to heal how it is, you might get you'll get more scarring than if they fix it under a general anaesthetic, basically. So, but they couldn't fit him in to do it today because they had 3 members of staff short. So they said, can you come back on Monday? Well, today is Saturday. They said, can you come back on Monday? He said, but obviously it's going to be healing in that time. He said, so when you come back in on Monday, he said, the doctors will take a look at it again. If they think that it's healing up nicely and the lines are coming together really nice, he said they might decide to leave it. He said, but if they decide it's not healing neatly, then they'll do the surgery on the Monday. So now we've got to rush round again trying to get someone available on the Monday to pick my other kids up from school and take them to the houses until we get back, if he does have the surgery, because it'll be we'll be there all day. So my mum couldn't do it because my mum's working. My sister could only do it till a certain time because she had some plans. So it's just like my sister can have them up until a certain time, and then I've got to get my sister to drop them off with my sister-in-law. Oh, it's just a whole thing, isn't it, childcare and trying to get places like this. But yeah, the snow and the motorway was absolutely horrific. I nearly had a nervous breakdown, I'll be honest. So this is a picture of my car once we'd gotten to Alder Hey Children's Hospital car park. That was the aftermath of being on the snowy motorway. Yeah, so I'm finally back a day later to finish this little mouse. So we were just going to get the fluff in, wasn't we? The little fluff. So I'm going to find my scrap piece of paper, which we had yesterday. It's got a bit of dried up red acrylic paint on it still. It is all dry in a big lump. I'm going to pop some white acrylic on. So I'm going to pop it on there. I will just say as well, my son has been so brave. All the time they were cleaning it up and things, he never cried once. Never cried once. If that was me, I'd be crying like a little baby. But I'm going to zoom us in. Oops a daisy. Right, I'm going to zoom us in. And all I'm going to do, I'm using a Q-tip or cotton board, whatever you want to call them, and I'm just going to dot the white paint on. So dipping it into the white paint, so we've got a bit on the end. It's not picking it up very clearly, is it? Got a bit on the end, and I am just gonna, let's make sure I'm in frame, you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna dot along the edge at the bottom, so we've sort of got the woolly texture going on. I'm gonna come up to about here. So we want it to look a bit fluffy. I don't want my hand to be in the way so that you can't see. Can we see there? Can we see? I think we can. So I'm going to come up to there at the edge. I think that will do. And then obviously we need a fluffy ball on the end of here as well. So I'm just going to dab a bit more. I'm going to do a fluffy ball on the edge now of here. So we might end up covering up a bit of his hand, but I'm not worried. I'm not too worried. It's fine. So a little bit of a fluffy ball there. And zoom you back out again. Now if you wanted to go back in and make it more opaque in a few areas, you can go back in with a white paint. Like if you see there's a few areas you want to go back in on here, you can go back in there. But there we go, that's my sort of little makeshift hat, Christmas Santa hat on our little mouse. It's not brilliant, but it's fun. It was really fun to do. I just like doing little things like that. It's just something a bit different, isn't it? So let's zoom us right out. Or just about there. You can see the whole page is coming together, all sort of. Let's turn the camera angle around a bit. And then I'll try and lift it up rather than zooming. Got all sorts on my desk. Look at all this pastel here. But that's the page coming together. I don't think I'm going to put a Santa hat on these two mice when I do them. So because you've seen me already do this little mouse now, I'm going to do these two off camera. And then the next time I do anything on camera for you, it's either going to be some of these little decorations to show you what colours I'm going to do them, or it'll be some of the leaves off the tree that I'll do on camera next. But I hope you enjoyed that and the little bit of chaos in the middle. Oh gosh, who thought doing that tutorial of that little mouse would be over 2 days of hecticness? But there you go, life is such, isn't it? I just realised I'd gone over a part of the hat with the white that I didn't want to. So I'd originally gone right over here. Let me lift it up so you can see. I'd originally took the white all over here to the end and I didn't want to. So I have gone back in with my red. That's the fun thing about acrylic paint. You can pretty much go back over things. I've gone back in with the red paint and I've just, you know, filled that back in as red because we didn't want that white there. This is what panic and a stressful day does to you, guys. But yeah, I want it to be flopping down like that and that to be underneath, the white bits to be underneath. So there we go, we can always correct mistakes. That looks better, doesn't it? That looks better. So I will let you go now. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up on the way out, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.